Hey YouTube, Ranger Reno. We're going to hike the Sleeping Bear Point Trail now. This will be part 3 of the series. Help put together for you. Hope you find it interesting. I've been spending some time up here at the Sleeping Bear Dunes in Michigan. Take a look at the map. One of the things you want to do before you go on a hike, now this is pretty simple, out, round, back, but Mrs. Ranger and I get on a lot of trails that are far more complex. And it's always a good idea to just take a snapshot with your phone of the trail. Know where you're going. Look at it before you leave. Check out the legend. Understand what's going on. In this case, we're going to be up here at this point. And we got 2.8 miles of trail to hike. A little spur down to the lake itself so we can get by the water. And an interesting fact of this trail is the beach is nesting area for piping plovers. That's right, piping plovers. They're an endangered bird, beautiful little bird, and they nest all along here. So we can't take Bailey with us. She's back in the truck, chillaxing. So here we go. I'll get you some footage along the way. Hopefully you enjoy the beautiful views and vistas of Lake Michigan once again and South Manitou Island. They don't call it the dunes for nothing. We take our shoes off, or I took my shoes off. Just go barefoot. So much easier. But we're talking sand trail. Sand, sand, sand. But it's a really fine, beautiful sand. But it gets everywhere. Here we go. Continuing on. And this is the half-mile spur down the lake. Absolutely gorgeous. Check that out. In the distance here, zoom in, is South Manitou Island. Oh, or is that? Yeah, south. This is more the bay going this way, I believe. Or it's North Manitou, not sure. Everywhere you look, it's an opportunity for a photo. Beautiful dunes, just absolutely beautiful. Mrs. Ranger getting a little footage there. Our big dune here with some cottonwood trees on it, a little jack pine down in the valley. Absolutely gorgeous. You have all these really succulent, well, not succulent, but very exotic, beautiful looking grasses and stuff. And of course, as they move in the breeze and the wind, they create their own artwork. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's all kinds of little lines and art, if you will. Different kind of beauty.
2, 3.
Of course, sand will get in your shoes, so why bother wearing them? The sand is very soft on your feet. It's easy walking. So we've arrived at the beach. First spur that comes down. This is a very, very popular place for the piping plover nesting area. They're a gorgeous little bird. You can kind of see the picture down here. But no dogs allowed. They're out in here somewhere. I don't see any now. Don't imagine we will. It's late in the season, so the nesting is probably over with and the young are moving on, or they're running the shoreline, which is generally where they feed. Okay, so I promised you I'd tell you the story of the legend of how the islands got named. The South Manitou and the North Manitou Islands. As the Native American legend goes, a mother bear with 2 cubs swam across from Wisconsin, got almost over to here, and both cubs drowned in the lake. The mother bear made it to the dune. She laid here crying, weeping over the loss of her 2 cubs, and the Great Spirit heard her mourning and said, "You know what, I feel for you. I'll be empathetic, and I'm going to bring your cubs back in the form of South Manitou and North Manitou Islands. So the mother bear was relieved and she had two islands to remind her of her cubs for the rest of her life. That's the legend of the Manitou Islands. The water is as clear as gin. I mean, you can see right down there, every stone. Reminds me a lot of Lake Superior, but I think actually there's not as much turbulence from incoming rivers, and again, you don't have all that tannin in the water that you have up in Lake Superior. So this water tends to be clear and beautiful in that regard. As you can see, it's Sunday morning. We own the place. There's nobody out here. It's ours. What an incredible place to have all to yourself. We saw one other couple on the trail coming out and in. Fabulous. Now, yesterday was a different story. This is a national park. You should expect people. But in this place, at this time, we like the simplicity of having it to ourselves. Part of living life full, large, and simple. Huh? All right, let's keep going. Another interesting note, this is all wild grapevines coming all along the trail. And at first I thought no fruit, but by golly, there's grapes right there, hiding in the shade over and over when you look. The leaves are actually edible too. But another part of the fauna of unique plants growing in the dunes. So here we have a tree called a bitterberry. It's just heavy with fruit. Heavy, heavy, heavy with fruit. And over here, which I showed you on the other trail, the Empire Bluff, is the sand cherry. Interesting stuff growing everywhere. It's an uphill climb. Here we come. Next little peak. Next little summit, if you will. Stunningly beautiful in its own way. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. Another view of the Manitous and Caribbean blue water. Sand, sand, and more sand. Okay, so we're about 1.5 miles in maybe. Remember we said 2.8. Here's the remainder going out this way. The trail is right up here. And we'll ultimately pick that up. We'll go down over here by the lake shore a little bit. Near this blue post. See the blue post here? In Michigan, they typically mark trails with blue hash marks. Oh, and look at that. Even cooler yet, the sea kayaks. Yeah, that should be me and Mrs. Ranger. We're gonna get there yet on this trip. We've got the yaks along, but like I said, I got stung in the right hand on Mackinac Island, and my hand is just now getting back in shape. The swelling's down, we're moving forward. Now we come through Sand Valley. All the way across. I just said to Mrs. Ranger, when's the last time we hiked 3 miles and never wore shoes? But it's actually quite comfortable. The brochures describing this trail and some of the others describe it as a desert hike. Make sure you bring water and get ready to deal with sand. Very true. Beautiful little formations all around us. Down in this bowl. Gorgeous blue sky. Fabulous. So interestingly enough, this is called the ghost forest. You can kind of see why. These are old white cedar trees that are just barren and denuded, standing here tall and proud after years and years of being dead in the ghost forest. Another part of the ghost forest. Almost looks like a doggone rib cage or something sticking out of there, but those are remnants of a cedar tree as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, this shows you where the bears eat the sand cherries. By golly, we found remnants of some bear scat in Sleeping Bear Dunes, Lakeshore National Park. Now we're at the summit, about halfway. Blue, blue, blue water everywhere you look. What a treasure. There's the Manitou north, Manitou south. More water, dunes and water. It's just amazing. What a national treasure. Yeah, it's sand, a lot of sand, but I tell you, it's beautiful in its own way. Definitely worth an experience for something different, unique, and beautiful in a rarefied way. It'd be cool to be up in one of those guys right now. You see the planes over here? I don't know if you can or not. Two planes kind of playing tag with each other, cruising down the shoreline. Awesome. So this little shrub grows prolifically in areas, not all areas, but in some areas like this, as ground cover. It's known as bearberry. The leaves were used by the Native Americans as a tobacco substitute, picked, dried, and gathered during the summer. The berries themselves, I'll show you some here again, are actually edible by bears, etc., and humans. Very bland, multi-seeded, no real flavor, but hey, one works great as a spit stone when you're out here and it's really hot and dry and you can hardly drink enough water. Let's carry on. There's actually a small wooded section to the trail, which is a nice reprieve from the sun, well shaded, but the trail was very narrow back here and we had poison ivy encroaching heavily on the edges we had to be careful for. So we're getting back on probably the last 8/10 of a mile here, coming in toward the parking lot. Nicely wooded, beautiful ferns going all along here. It's absolutely beautiful. But one thing I gotta tell you with this particular trail is be knowledgeable of poison ivy. You better know how to identify it and how to avoid it, and stay clear because it is prolific in this area. Well, prolific in this park. I tell you, it's everywhere you turn, there it is. Be careful. Okay, there's also a lot of low ground cover juniper growing in the area. Of course, this is what they make gin out of. If you want, you can pick one of these berries and just chew on it. It's multi-seeded, but it has a nice refreshing, almost minty, but it is juniper flavored flavor to it. So it's really nice for quenching your thirst. Okay, that concludes the hike for the day. Let me tell you, it was phenomenal. Very, very awesome. Now, oh, Ranger's got his shirt off. Cover the eyes of the kids. Watch out. It's disgusting, ugly. Be careful. Warning, warning. Anyway, it was hot out there. On the return element, it was getting to be pretty warm, and then the breeze kicked up, so I said, hey, I'm cooling off. Anyway, this trail gave us the opportunity to live life large, live it full, but we kept it really simple. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy all these videos. I enjoy you watching. I enjoy making them. Hey, all right. It's a win-win situation. Have fun. God bless. Thanks for your viewership.